Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. This is Transfers Live because we are deep into transfer season. Even though it's not really started, the transfer news has started. The window may be short, but the door is open.
I love that. The window may be shut, but I tell you what, there's still a cold breeze whistling round the frame because you can never truly shut the transfer window, Jay.
No, it never closes.
It never closes. City have already announced like 2 transfers. It doesn't shut.
I'll bet they have.
Yeah.
Hey,
I know.
You know what I mean?
They're announcing more than that.
Yeah, we're going to go through many stories today. We're going to be talking about some players that we are saying bon voyage to, that have left, contracts not renewed. Some who are potentially getting their contracts renewed. There's one very interesting one there for me. And also players that could be incoming. Yeah, we've got a few players that not only could be incoming, but actually, according to some reports, have even started dishing out bids. Yes, we might not know who our manager's going to be, but we know which players we want, and we're going to get it.
It's incredible.
So get involved in the chat and the comments. Make sure as well you are hitting like, share, and most importantly, if you can just get this right, subscribe. Yeah, we want to get to 750,000 subscribers.
It can happen tonight.
I think we can do this tonight.
119 even.
I always joke and say by the end of this video. I actually think we could get there by the end of this video. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe. There's a link in the chat. There's a link in the description. Hit that subscribe button. Let's do this. Let's get to 750,000 subscribers. And it's one you can tell your grandkids. I was there when Stretford Paddock hit 750k.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it was a momentous occasion.
Should we get into some news, Jay?
Yeah, why not? Let's do this.
Let's start it out with one of my favourite Lennys, and I've read of Mice and Men, Lenny Yoro. Okay?
Right, okay.
60 million euros. We are off with a bang today, aren't we? We're off to a good start, Ethan. It works. United have made a proposal to sign Lille defender Lenny Yoro. It is reported that let's start again.
Sound it out.
It is reported that United have tabled an offer above Yoro's market value, reportedly worth 60 million euros. The 18-year-old, 18, has a year left on his Lille contract and is attracting a wealth of interest ahead of this summer's transfer window. United have set the target of signing 2 centre-backs this summer and are exploring various avenues. Jared Branthwaite of Everton is understood to be a leading target. Now, in the past, you have been accused of exploring various avenues of an evening, haven't you, sir?
Do you
live around here, sir?
It's none of your business. You'll never take me alive.
Okay, fair enough. However, Lenny Yoro is considered one of the, if not probably the most promising youngster of his generation in terms of defenders. Yeah. Like, he's one of them where people are just, the sky's the limit. Real Madrid want him, Chelsea want him, United want him. Obviously, he's 18. He could go on to be, who knows, an absolute flop. But what is very clear is he's massively talented, and loads of people would agree with me on that. He looks fantastic. He's just, 18-year-old as a centre-back, those two things don't happen. That doesn't work. You can't be a centre-back who's 18 years old and starting at the top level, and he is. He looks absolutely fantastic, and United are going to be facing stiff opposition. Marca or Marca, they're one of those, aren't they, where you have to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. Real Madrid apparently are sort of the favourites for him at the moment. But I think it's a good sign if United are interested that we're still, even though we've got this sort of, we want cheaper players, we don't want to get caught with our pants down, we're still up for going for some of the biggest young talents in the world, because he does seem as though people who've seen a lot of him, and obviously a lot more than I have, talk about him as though he could go on to be anything really. But, you know, he's only 18, so we'll have to wait and see. But does this excite you?
Yeah, it does, to be honest with you. I mean, young defender, obviously very young in terms of like top flight or one of Europe's top leagues. Been spoken about quite a lot. 60 million euros. I mean, that worries me a little bit because there's, like you were saying, there's an element of a gamble here. Obviously, he's done well at Lille, but he might take a little bit of time to get ready or get used to the Premier League. You might have to be patient with him. I know patience isn't something that you often have as a football fan, or that the Premier League has in general. Players often come here, and if they don't sort of start off well, people write them off straight away. Yeah. So you've got to be mindful of that. But if United are going to go down this route of we're not going to go out and spend another 80 million quid like we did on Maguire or whatever, we're going to sort of spend a little bit less, still a lot of money, but not sort of breaking records, then maybe someone like Yoro is the answer. It's just still not cheap, is it, for someone who's
He's a child and he's got 1 year left on his deal.
That's a lot of money. That's the only thing that it stinks a little bit of this, the Mason Mount style. Oh, his contract expires, but we'll get him now anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm a little bit sceptical of this. Marca ain't the most reliable source. No. They tend to just run with stories, regardless of whether they're true or not. Sometimes they get it right, more often than not they get it wrong though. I'd be shocked if United were tabling bids for 60 million euros, which is what, about 50 odd million quid, for an 18-year-old when we still don't know what the situation is. We still don't know what the situation is with certain centre-backs, which we're going to get into in a minute at the club, whether they're staying or not. We don't know what's happening with the manager, and yet we're going out and we're spending 55 million quid or whatever on an 18-year-old defender. I'd be surprised if this is true. I could see us being interested in him. I could see him being one of those signings you make regardless of who your manager is. Yeah. Any manager would like a young, amazing centre-back. Yeah. It's not like, well, he can only play under Pochettino or he can only play under Tuchel. He can play under anyone. It's just, I don't see this happening. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Unfortunately, it seems as though Madrid have got the sort of the advantage on this one. He's a very good player, though, and I do think that, you know, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of Lille's games this season, but when I'm deferring my logic and my decision making to people who have, they talk incredibly highly of him.
Yeah.
I would love to sign him, or I'd certainly like I said before, that we're in for players like this. But like you said, some of these things don't add up to me. 60 million euro bid already when he's got 1 year left on his deal. I know he's an exceptional player, but you know, what was it like? You see defenders and centre backs. We got Varane, who was one of the best centre backs in the world for definite when he was 27 or 28 for half of that, or you know, I think 35 million. Like that is a hell of a lot of money for any centre back, let alone one with 1 year left on his deal. Who 18 is good in one sense because it's, you know, you could have 15 years of him, but in the other sense, the word unproven couldn't be more apt. So it kind of doesn't quite add up to me. But I do think that if this is just a sort of a symbol of our interest and that maybe they've gone a step further to chuck a number on it, I'm very excited by the potential of signing him because I think he's an exceptional player.
Just have a little look here. Sorry, his my computer just froze at the wrong time. His numbers, because you think of that, you think for an 18-year-old to be commanding that sort of fee already, because even if United don't go in for him, someone else is going to. He's got one French under 23 cap, four French under 21 caps. He's played 44 games this season.
That's
for
a
Lille,
lot.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
Last season he played 15. So he's played around 60 top level.
And
games.
how many goals has he got?
3.
Shite.
Yeah. So he's played a lot of football for an 18-year-old, and he might be that guy. Like if you said Kobe Mainu, for example, you go, he's worth whatever. You know he's good. You know he's more than good. You know he's mint. So you do get those players where you go, let's not kid ourselves. This guy has got it. Do you know what I mean? You get those players like exactly. The question is, have United got that kind of money to be spending on him? And also, is he that guy? I don't know. I've not seen enough of him.
If we were if we do start seeing more reports and rumours that this kind of bid has happened or something like this has happened, it would be a signal of how highly not just he is regarded, but that centre-back position is regarded for United. Because to me, it might be the most important position this summer. I think it's, if you look through the midfield and the attack and the defence, like the rumours are centre-forward, centre-mid, centre-back, left-back.
Yeah.
Those 4 positions are the ones that seemingly everyone is saying we want. I think you could argue that we might sign someone that is a backup to Højlund. We could arguably sign someone, we probably want a first-choice midfielder, but we might just get backup midfielders. We might just get a backup to Luke Shaw, but we have to get a first-choice starting centre-back because ours has left. Like, Varane has gone. So whoever we get at centre-back has to come in to be the new guy. So if you're going to spend some money, it might end up being 60 million because we need someone to start, ideally, 44, 50 games for United next season as that choice next to Martinez because the current one has literally left the club.
No, it's a good point, and we don't know what's going to happen with Harry Maguire. Don't know, we're going to get to it in a minute. Johnny Evans, but obviously I don't expect Johnny Evans, even if he stays at the club, to play anything more than 20 games maximum next season, just because of his age and the fact that injuries are catching up with him a little bit. You can't really rely on Luke Shaw to play at centre-back anymore because he's been injured.
Let's have him at left back before we start.
That's right. But also, you can't afford to have him out of the left back position if he's fit because we haven't got a backup left back. So you're right. I mean, there's talk in there of us getting Elise. He seems to be a big target, big priority for us. There's a lot of seems there's a lot of fire to that smoke. But the priority's got to be a centre-back.
Yeah,
but even before a striker, you're right, because we ain't got one at the minute. Even the striker, you go, well, we're short of strikers because Martial's left and Højlund's our only out-and-out striker. I know Marcus Rashford can play down the middle, but it's not his best position. But we haven't got enough centre-backs, so we need starting centre-backs, so we need to address that. Going to go through some of the comments, then we'll move on. Witterbird Vicky gifted 5 Stretford Paddock memberships. She does this a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vicky. Much appreciated. Red Devil says GGMU from India. Thank you. Loads of people saying thank you to Vicky as well for those for gifting those memberships. Take advantage of them. Ross Murphy says we definitely looking at another left back. We've got to. Yeah. We 100% have to. Ross Murphy also says 103 more subscribers. Guys, come on, let's hit 750k. Graham Sharkey, who's been a member of the first team for 11 months, says, never mind starting centre-backs, we need a starting gaffer. We do need to know what is happening with the managerial situation. Should we move on?
Yeah, the one good thing with the managerial situation is everyone seems to be saying it's going to be this week. So hopefully we won't have to wait too much longer for that at least. That's one positive. But
we'll see how that ends.
We'll wait and see. Right, what we got next? Portuguese, that's expensive.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right.
I like it actually.
Yeah.
I quite like
Portuguese, that's expensive. Yeah. Right.
Actually, it sounded worse second time around.
Yeah. Portuguese. Go on. How did you say it?
Portuguese, that's expensive.
Portuguese, that's expensive. Portuguese, that's expensive. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
United are
it's good stuff.
United are prepared to move for Sporting Lisbon defender.
To what?
Move for Sporting Lisbon defender Gonzalo Inacio this summer.
There he is playing American football.
There he is. What?
What does it look? It looks like he's got shoulder pads on.
It looks like he's got a Green Bay Packers jacket and he's just thrown the ball in his arms back down here somewhere.
What's going on? He just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Reportedly, Inacio is the closest to leaving Sporting. This has been whipped through the old Google Translate, if my eyes don't deceive me.
Right. Okay. I was about to say, is the closest from whom?
I don't know. So of all humans on earth, Inacio is the closest to leaving Sporting. The United are very interested in signing him, but all right, we won't pay his release clause. Okay, however, instead they wish to negotiate the price by including add-ons for sporting achievements. Now, crucially here, sporting achievements is a lovely bit of double entendre with the fact that they are called sporting. If they were to make those achievements themselves, they would be considered sporting achievements. And however, sporting achievements in and of themselves are also a phrase. Love all that,
Every day's a school day.
It is. The Red Devils will be aiming to prize him away for a lower fee up front. A deal around €35 million plus add-ons could be their plan, but a transfer may depend on player sales. Really covering all bases here, aren't they?
They could have summed up this story by just saying absolutely nothing.
Might happen, might not happen.
Yeah, it's like any of this could happen or it might not.
Yeah.
Like that is pretty much what it's saying.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the grammatical error of the way it's worded in the first one, closest to leaving Sporting, okay, is he going to leave? We don't know, he's a bit close. United are very interested, but won't pay his release clause, right? They want to negotiate on sporting achievements, that's fraught with problems. Remember when we wanted to get Wan-Bissaka and part of the deal was going to be if he won the Champions League, and Crystal Palace were like, don't be stupid, you've won the Champions League 3 times in your entire 100-odd year history. Right, we ain't doing that.
We'll give you a few extra million if he doesn't win the Champions League.
How's about that?
How's about that?
Yeah, and now we're laughing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, also the Red Devils will be aiming to prize him away for a lower fee up front. A deal of around 35 million plus add-ons could be their plan. Could be. It sounds like the writers just plucked that out of thin air. Could be 35 million. It's not 50, is it? A bit less, but still a bit.
I'm not even exactly that. Around that. So a deal around this number, so not even specifically this number, something around this could be, how far are we getting from the 35 million as a number here? We're not even on it, we're around it, and then it could be that. So this feels like they have heard, my guess would be, they have heard from an agent or from another journalist or from the club or something that United have shown an interest in this guy. And for me, all of these numbers, these figures, these details, these stats have been sort of constructed to make the story. When you actually scratch beneath the surface, it sounds like United are interested in this guy and nothing more has happened, which, that's what we're here for, isn't it? To sort of peel it back a little bit. That's what I think we're seeing there.
He's another one, though, highly rated. Again, not seeing loads of him. I think he can play at right back and play in midfield as well, I believe. A little bit more experience, obviously, than...
How old is he?
He's 22. I think he's got about 7 caps for Portugal, unless I don't know if he's played tonight. I've not checked. So, a good player further down further down the career line than Yoro. I don't know loads about him, but it might be one of those where if you can get him for a reasonable price, he might be worth taking a punt on. He's obviously highly regarded, and United, if we're not going to spend 60, 70 million, then we might have to look at someone like that from a good player from a good league, but not, the top league. You're not going to get someone from, I don't know, like Real Madrid again. You're not going to go for another Rafael Varane, are you, or go to Barca or wherever. You probably like Portugal or France. These are the sort of, if you are looking abroad, those are the countries where you're probably better off looking. Players like Yoro and obviously Inacio, highly regarded. We'll have to wait and see though, because this is pure conjecture.
Yeah,
there's nothing here that makes me think my man who's writing for these has got any inside info on what is going on at United. He's just written a piece based purely on logic and speculation. United need a defender. This kid's mint. They're probably going to try and negotiate. If they do get him, here's 200 words on it. It feels like that, doesn't it? Get involved in the chat. If you do know these players, let me know. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know what they're about, because I don't know a lot about them other than watching a few clips and looking on Transfermarkt. So that doesn't tell me anything. Michael Hill says, I have just gifted Jay a membership. Nice one. Jay's Anti-Chafing says, double signed photo of me giving Jay his first ever bath to subscriber that gets us to 750k. Can't get better than that.
Yes, do hit the subscribe button if you're watching. We're so close
We're
to
99 away.
99 away.
99
hit the
problems.
subscribe button.
Yeah.
1999 treble. Someone's a United fan. Guilty. Should we move on? Right, what's up next? He'll pay for Evans. Oh, shit. He'll play for Evans.
Yes.
No, I don't mind that.
Good, solid punnage.
I thought it was going to be something like Johnny stretched thin. Something like that.
Johnny stretched thin.
Like
That's not a pun.
Could be.
What?
Like a condom and that. So, Johnny stretched thin over Red Devil.
I will not have United legend Johnny Evans compared to a prophylactic on this channel.
Good Evans.
Yeah? Good Evans, yeah, exactly.
Yes. Right, let's do it. Manchester United are in talks with defender Johnny Evans over extending his stay at the club. You know what? I don't need to read these words. We know this story. United are chatting to Johnny Evans about potentially extending. All I want to know, Jay, would you give him another year? He made 30 appearances last season. So
That's more than I thought, actually.
He was hardly a bit part player, was he?
How many bad appearances did he make? How many bad performances? Genuinely.
Wrexham pre-season, but that doesn't count.
Fuck off.
I don't think he was bad, but he was knocking about when Arsenal turned us over when he came on in that game. And he came on for injured players, but he wasn't great against Arsenal when they scored those late goals. Other than that, I can't think of it.
So I mean, 2 out of 30.
Yeah,
and one of them was a friendly, so that don't count.
No.
I mean, if you look at, I thought he was doing really well at the Etihad. It was a shame he got injured.
Yeah.
I thought against Burnley he was fantastic. The ball for Bruno's goal was sublime. I think his attitude, his sort of experience, the quality he's got on the ball. I mean, everything about him I love.
Yeah.
And we need players like Johnny Evans in that squad. We've got a team who haven't won the title. He has, he's won 3. Might have been a long time ago, he's still done it. He's still a successful footballer, and he's still from that sort of Sir Alex Ferguson era of we're used to winning things and we're used to having standards at the club. And I think if he's not going to stick around playing games, then you need to get him on the coaching staff. He's a good guy, Johnny Evans. We've met him, you know what I mean? He's one of those people that sort of has that humility and yet that sort of leadership quality as well.
Yeah.
So keep him around. If he plays, even if he plays next season 15 games, I don't mind that. If he's just coming in for, say, the Carabao and Europa League or whatever, just so you can give maybe the likes of Lisandro Martinez or someone else a bit of a breather, that works for me as well. Because for me, it's a win-win. And I guarantee he's not going to be on 350k a week. No. It's not like, well, if you keep him, you've got to give him Casemiro's wages. He's probably on one of the lowest earners or lower end of the earning scale. And all the reasons that I've mentioned, yep, I just keep Johnny Evans around. The only reason I was a bit wary of keeping him around is A, injuries catching up with him, and B, I don't want us to go, well, we're not going to get a defender because we've got Johnny Evans, because that would be stupid. Yeah. But if we go out and buy 2 defenders and keep Johnny Evans, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Bill O'Reilly says, is Johnny Evans the most decorated player from Northern Ireland? I don't know. He possibly could be.
Did he win the Champions League?
No, I don't think he got a medal.
No.
I don't think he got a medal in 2008. I think he made his debut in 2008-09, so he wouldn't have got a medal. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. Also, Sean Oliver says, why not sign 2 young centre-backs to become a future solid pairing and Martinez to play in front of them, giving cover and experience, potentially? Michael Hill says George Best will be. George Best, in terms of his medals, I think he won 2 titles and the European Cup. He hasn't got loads of trophies. He's obviously one of the greatest players ever. But in terms of actually trophies, you know, Anderson's got more trophies. I know he's not from Northern Ireland, but Anderson's got more trophies than George Best has. George Best is just one of the greatest players ever played football, but he was in that sort of period where he came in just after the 63 FA Cup, so I don't think he won that. And he was sort of the last trophy that United won for a little while was the 68 European Cup, and I think he'd gone by the time we won the FA Cup in 77. So yeah, I think he's just got the 3 trophies, but obviously 3 big ones. Should we move on?
Yes. What's up next? What we got? Brune knows what he wants. Bit easy, that. Bit simple, that.
Yeah.
Innit?
Brune knows what he wants. I like it. Brune knows what he wants.
Right.
Yeah? You're not feeling it?
I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a bit there, isn't it?
It feels like a bit of a...
It's like seeing the words "what the cluck" on an edgy chicken restaurant's menu. You know it's going to be there in one way, shape or form, and it doesn't excite me.
Yeah, it's like when we used
clucking bell.
Clucking bell, I always say that, clucking bell.
But what the cluck, do you know when you see it? What the cluck? Oh, get over yourselves.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like when someone's covering a parade and it's raining, and the commentator will say,
no, he's crying over spilt milk.
Well, that, and also, spirits refuse to be dampened here.
Oh, very nice.
You know, all that old one. And you think, just fuck off, you dickhead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just bore off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's one of them ones.
In a way, he just told you to fuck off, you dickhead.
No, sorry, I forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about Ethan,
No, I wasn't.
You just said that to his face.
Right, Ethan has
He's literally bored off, look. He's drilled a hole into the ground. He's boring his way to the centre of the earth where he hopes to burn. That's what he just said. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. I'm going to burn myself to death. Bloody hell. Isn't it mad, by the way, that nothing that humans have ever invented has ever got to the centre of the earth? We don't actually know what's there.
How do you know that nothing's ever got to the centre of the earth?
Well, no one's ever said that they've done
Maybe
it.
he got there and died.
What, just swam through the magma of an open volcano?
I can't wait to tell the lads when I get back to the earth what I've done here. Oh no!
Oh no, I've just realised it's spread out.
No one will ever know what I've done. Shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that happened. What? Right, okay,
That's true.
That really bothers me, actually, now you mentioned it.
It's worrying, isn't it?
Just read this out.
Could be anything in there.
What?
Could be, it'd just be bubble wrap in there.
Could be, yeah.
Could be loads of pasties.
With cheese.
Oof. Could be. The whole planet could be a big Scotch egg. Just a big fat egg in the middle of it all.
Scotch eggs are weird, because I'll eat them every day, but I'm not a fan. I like breadsticks.
Yeah, no one buys breadsticks.
Do you know what I mean?
No one has ever bought a breadstick, and yet we've all had dozens of breadsticks. Where are they coming from?
That's
You never bought a breadstick. They're just, oh, there's a breadstick.
It's mad that, isn't it? Because like, no one in our house ever bought porn on our Sky. Yeah, it keeps appearing and it's on my bill as well. It's really weird. One of the mysteries. Anyway, go on.
That breadstick. Bruno Fernandes is pushing for a new contract from United that would take him into the top tax bracket. Top pay bracket at the club. Fernandes signed a new deal in April 2022 worth about £220,000 a week that runs to 2026 with the option of a further 12 months. But it is understood he feels undervalued and wishes to be in the highest band of earners. Rashford is paid a basic sal of £365 a week, slightly more than Casemiro, and Sancho gets about £300,000 a week. United's captain is waiting for clarity regarding the manager and the club's long-term vision before deciding whether to seek a transfer. He's publicly come out and said he's not going anywhere and how much he loves Manchester United. I would be surprised, unless there are real catastrophic problems behind the scenes, if he then did go somewhere.
If he goes, Ineos have got off to the worst start imaginable.
Yeah.
Letting your star player, your best signing post Alex Ferguson, leave the club. Like, that would be a fucking shit show.
Yeah, it would.
Like, that, genuinely, I'd be so devastated. I can't even get my head around it. I don't blame him for wanting more than 220 grand a week. Yes, it's lots of money, I get it, but Jadon Sancho's getting 300 grand a week to play for Dortmund. Like, let's not be stupid about it. So why shouldn't he be getting as much of, as if not more, than Jadon Sancho? You can throw Marcus Rashford in there as well. Obviously, you mentioned him. He should be on as much as Marcus Rashford, if not more, because he's the captain. He's the one that's consistently performed ever since he's arrived at the club. His numbers are ridiculous. His amount of minutes are ridiculous. Like,
he should be the best paid player at Man United.
He should.
Take the numbers out of it. Take out what that would actually mean in terms of bank balance. He's our best player. He's consistently our best player. He plays every single minute, so you're getting the most juice out of this contract you could possibly get. And he's fucking brilliant. And he's our captain. Like, what other metric could you judge him on where he shouldn't be the best paid player at Man United? Like, it literally, on any hierarchy, on any structure you want to think of, he's at the top of it. Like, he should be the top player at United.
Exactly. Jadon Sancho played 3 games for United last season. Like, you know, I know he went to Dortmund and they will have been covering some of his wages, but like, there's no way on God's earth he should be on 80k a week. 80k a week more than Bruno Fernandes. And also, this interests me as well, regarding the manager. I hope Bruno is gunning for Ten Hag to stay.
Me too.
I hope he's thinking, look, I've been at this fucking club for 4 years, and the last 2 years I've won 2 trophies because this manager's here, and I want more of him, and I think he's the guy. And I know players shouldn't throw the weight around and say, well, this is who I want to play for, because that ultimately has to be the club's decision. But I hope he is letting the club know that he's happy with Eric Ten Hag. I don't know if he is or not.
And as captain, you would, if any player has the right to have some say on whether the manager stays or goes, the captain should be the person that has.
I'm going to be so fucked off if Eric Ten Hag goes, you know.
Yeah,
honestly, I really am. And it's going to make me actually dislike some of these players. Yeah, Bruno, I can't say enough good things about him. Absolutely love the bloke. He deserves to get a pay rise and be on the same amount of money as others. You might argue that others are on too much money, and they are. Marcus is on too much money. He shouldn't be on 365k a week. Jadon Sancho shouldn't be on 300k a week, but they are. Yeah. So my man should be on it as well. Yeah. It's that fucking simple.
You can't say to Bruno, well, we're not going to give you that because we shouldn't have given them that.
Yeah.
That's not a
defense. That'd be horrendous. Let me know what you think. Sorry, in the comments. BMW Racing 1974 says Sancho out. Also, there seems to be some sort of conversations going on. Red Lad said Scotch eggs are elite. Jay. Bill O'Reilly says 3 times league, 2 FA Cup, 2 League Cup, 1 Champions League, 1 Championship League win. It looks like Johnny Evans, according to Bill O'Reilly, does have a Champions League medal. Yeah, Max Gomez has checked. Sorry, I stand corrected. I didn't think he got one for 2008. Obviously, he did. Jason Castro says 750k is incoming. I just want to thank the entire Stretford Paddock crew for always staying level-headed and tirelessly bringing us the best United content. Always good for a laugh as well. Thank you. Thank you, Jason Castro. Really appreciate that, and appreciate your support as well. Appreciate everyone's support over the last 4 years since we took over from Full Time Devils. Me, Joe, Adam McCullough, Steve Howson, bought the channel, took a punt during lockdown, and thanks to your support, we've managed to keep going and keep growing, and we'll be growing even further because we're going to be over in the US for the tour again. It's going to be our 3rd tour on the spin, man, and I love it. Love going out there, meeting the fans, United fans from different countries, and we went to Australia, went to Thailand, went to America last year. And you've got to give, the fans over there credit because, listen, I'm not going to say whether it's harder or better being a fan from Salford or from San Diego or whatever, but you've got to give them credit getting up at daft o'clock in the morning to watch United. It's not always easy, is it? Anyway, let's move on. What's the next one?
Yes, interesting this. Stay home and brush your teeth. Clutching at straws.
It's the whole brush your teeth. It feels like brush your teeth sounds like, a pun. Let's do that.
We started with this, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we sort of built it out to this.
Yeah.
Is that right, Ethan?
Brush your teeth.
What no? It started with stay home, he says. Yeah, maybe you should start by staying home next week. We'll get someone else in. Not really. We need you desperately. Borussia Dortmund have decided not to fucking have ya! This again, man. I'm fucking sick of these Borussia Dortmund bastards. I'm sick of them. They've got no money, ever, except when you're selling all your players for 100 million quid every other year. Why haven't you got any money? I said this the other day, you're making profit over the last 3 years on your transfers. Where is it all going?
Because they're sensible, Joseph. They don't break their sort of structure and their ethos for anyone.
That's why they never fucking win out. Fuck 'em.
Well,
I'm sick of them.
I think they're right not to do that.
No, I know.
I don't think they should be spending big money on Jadon Sancho.
Yes.
He's had fucking 3 good games in about 20, and everyone's going on like he's the second coming of George Best.
Why are you
It's
telling
ridiculous.
them that for?
Well, they'll know it, because they've been watching him
No, they won't.
every week.
All they're doing is tweeting about how good he is.
Yeah.
They don't know he's been up and down for them.
Like, he's done well, like the first leg of the semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain, when he first went there, but he's also had some average games. He's had games where he's not done a lot. And they're probably looking at it going, do we want to suddenly start spending big dough on a player we probably won't get the resale value for if we move him on in a few years' time? No. Do we want to get him on another loan? Why not? That's a win-win for us. They do what they do. They get 18, 19-year-olds for 20, 30 million tops, not even that, and then they sell them on for big dough.
Sorry, who are you talking about here? Prince Andrew. What? What did you say? Sorry, I blanked out for a minute. You've ruined it all, Jay. Dortmund genuinely thought he's been world-class every game until now, and you've just exposed it. You've just lost Man United 50 million quid there. What have you done that for?
I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? If anyone gets hurt, it's me with my share.
Exactly. How is your share doing, by the way?
I've not looked for ages.
A year ago, Jay bought a share of Manchester United. It was when it was a heady height of $20 per share.
I think I'm the only man, or person, I should say, in... We're up. Can we have me sing? You won't be able to see that, will you? It's green. Green's good, innit?
If it's at $16, you're down $4.
All right, yeah. I am, overall.
Overall?
But this week, since last week, your account gained 5.31%.
Which equates to how much in cash terms? In liquid terms?
I've gained about, I don't know, $3 or something. But I went down to $13, and now I'm up to $16, but I started off with $20. So...
This is very much Rishi Sunak maths, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're on the up.
Yeah.
Wait, it's $4 less than when you started.
It's higher than it used to be.
It's higher than when it was even shit.
Yeah, it's higher than when I first bought it.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm not really making much money off this investment, but I'm a fan. I don't do it for the money. I'm like Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I do it because I love the club.
We're messing about with this Andrew thing a little bit, and Dortmund, this whole, we love him, great to have you back, he's finally home, it never in doubt, and the haters questioned him, shit, Twitter post that they did. But the genuine question that leads on from this is, what is going to happen with him? Who will take him? Where is he going to go?
Anyone who studies Jadon Sancho, properly studies him, is going to be put off.
Yeah.
I think there's a touch of the David De Gea's about him, where on paper, you go, mint. Look at his numbers at Dortmund the first time round, 36 goal involvements in his last 39 games. Basically, carried him towards, not just on his own, obviously they had Bellingham and Haaland there, carried him into the Champions League qualification, won him a German Cup, which they don't often do. Absolutely smashed it. Some of his performances, you look at in the Euros against, was it Ukraine, I think, where he was fantastic. Seen him for United, he's come in, the goal against Liverpool, the goal against Chelsea, the goal against City. I think, wow, what a player. But then if you scratch beneath the surface, you look at him week in, week out. It's a player that gets subbed on the hour mark almost every game for United. He gets subbed a lot for Dortmund. He's only completed 4 games since he went back to Dortmund. I know obviously a lot of it's tactical, it's not, he's a winger, so wingers tend to get subbed, but he gets subbed a lot. Yeah. Then you've got all these rumours, reports, stories that aren't just made up. I don't think someone like Laurie Whitwell makes up stories about Jadon Sancho or whoever has been reported. I don't think Florian Plettenberg and some of the other journalists we've spoken to have made up stories about Jadon Sancho and him having a bit of a problem being late all the time when he was at Dortmund, having to put him with Haaland because Haaland's professionalism was rubbing off on Jadon Sancho. I don't think that it's been invented that at Manchester United he was one of only 2 players who kept getting fined for being late when the players started finding each other for being late in his first season at the club. There's an issue there. There's an issue there when you can see what happened with him and Erik ten Hag. Whether you even think Erik ten Hag handled it the right way, I think he did. Even if you don't, Jadon Sancho didn't cover himself in glory. And I don't think Erik ten Hag made up the fact that he wasn't trying in training. I don't think he just created that out of nothing. So I just feel you look at all these issues, you look at, you've got a player there who's on, 300k a week. People are probably going to go, no, not for us. Who's having that? Who's fancying it?
What people are saying in the comments, because genuinely, where could he go? Let's assume that we want to get a fee for him this summer, not just another loan to Dortmund, because they'll probably have him for that. But where's he going to go? Who would have him? If Dortmund don't want to, who would?
Stephen Harris says, I can't afford a new car. Can I borrow Jay's for a year? Oh, by the way, you'll have to pay for the fuel as well. No, didn't think so. Do one. Dortmund. Nomad Joe says, don't think he ever finishes 90. Wesley Revens says, well done, Jay. Now Dortmund won't buy Sancho and your share won't go up. Daniel Berry says, being better than Amrabat isn't a reason to sign somebody. I don't know what's going on there. I think that might be a conversation that's I've sort of jumped into. BMW Racing 1974 says Juve. Maybe I think he's suggesting him as a potential. Bill O'Reilly as well sent us a chat a little while ago that I missed. It says, also he's been a member of the Academy for 30 months, so big thank you for that. 750k, I admire how you've turned a passion into a career. Best United content online. You all love United, so I love you. Yep, I've had a Guinness.
Brilliant.
Fair enough, bro. We appreciate your support as well. Reese Allen says PSG. PSG like the go-to, the go-to guys for everything.
That's not bad.
I only ever hear Rashford, let's sell him to PSG. PSG don't want him. Well, let's sell him there anyway. Now it's Sancho. I get the idea.
He'd be good for them. He'd be good for them.
No, he wouldn't.
He would.
He wouldn't.
Why?
It'd be a problem for him.
Why?
I just think he'll go to Paris. He's in a team full of people that half the time can't be bothered. They just fax it in and win the league anyway. Always flat to deceive in the Champions League. They'll end up going there, and I think it'll just be a bad move for him. Honestly, I think that's like one of the last clubs he needs to be going to.
Think of the steak frites, though.
That's what I mean.
Do you know what I mean?
I honestly think Jadon Sancho is probably better off going back to Dortmund if it's on loan, getting his head down and trying to get him back to that player that was. He obviously likes that environment.
But won't we only have 1 year left on his deal if he goes out for another year?
Where's it? Well, all right, what's the other option? He comes back to United and has his lunch with the kids again.
Or do you sell him for, 12 million quid to someone?
I think you'd have to take a big hit on him to get rid of him, and I don't think Ineos will do that. And someone would have him for 12 million or 15 million or whatever, but I don't know if Ineos will go for that. I think Ineos would want at least half the money that the club paid for him.
Yeah, that'd be about 35.
Yeah, you're getting 35, 40 million for him on 300k a week. Maybe there's a club that'd have him.
Yeah.
I honestly think, and this might sound crazy for a player, he's very talented, Jadon Sancho. I don't even know if the Premier League's the right league for him. I know he's English and he's done bits for United in the Premier League. I just don't know. I think he might be better off staying in Germany or maybe Italy or something like that.
Funnily enough, I think he could do the job that Grealish does at City. I think he could do that. And obviously I know he hasn't played many games this season, but last season, if you'd have swapped them two out, I think you'd have got a lot of the same output from Sancho. But obviously he's already left City once, and I don't see Pep putting up with, lateness and all that stuff.
No.
But I think in terms of a style, I think a team like City where you're not trying to go past your man all the time, it's not about quick counter-attacks and, sprinting up and down, where you keep the opposition penned in and it's quick touches and small passes. He's very good at that. But I don't think City would, City wouldn't have him back now, and we wouldn't sell to City anyway. So, yeah, I think he might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it is sad to see. Let's move on.
Well, we've got this one, but I want to talk about this. Ole going to go to Turkey? Well, just so you know, about 4 hours ago, Besiktas announced that their new manager was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Yeah.
So.
All right, can we still get odds on?
No, don't just run away. Don't just run away from it. Just turn it away. Ethan, what's happened? Where's your research? It was at the time relevant. Things change, okay?
Hey,
it's not happening.
I love that. It was at the time relevant.
Interesting, isn't it?
Ole isn't going to Turkey unless he's got another club. He's not going to Besiktas because Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has been announced as manager. Weird that Ole's not got a club.
Yeah.
Weird that he's not been offered something. Perhaps.
Well, I think he has been offered.
Yeah, perhaps he just doesn't feel like it. And is waiting for the right job to come along.
I can understand that. Do you know, if you were a person in a career and you get given literally the job that made you start that career in the first place, managing Manchester United would have been deep down his whole motivation for being a manager, won't it? That would be the thing that in his head was his dream from day one. You get that job, you do that job for 2.5 years to a pretty good standard as well. He didn't fuck it up, he wasn't a flop, he was a good manager who maybe didn't quite have what it takes to be a top manager, but he was very good. It doesn't surprise me that you might want a couple of years away. Like, I've done the thing I set out to do, whatever I do after this is going to be a drop down emotionally for me. Give me 3 years. Let me work something out. Let me think about this. Let me reflect on the fact that he's actually hit the top of the mountain. Like, I respect that, and I think fair enough. Take your time and wait for the right option. Like, don't rush things.
I think we need to have a serious conversation about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time at Manchester United.
Go on.
I think it was almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a positive way. I think, look at first season, obviously finding his feet. He had a very good half as a caretaker.
Amazing.
Wheels came off. Yeah. With the same group of players, it was always difficult when all of a sudden the same group of players you've had for the first half of the season suddenly stop playing and aren't performing to the levels they were. 1 or 2 injuries as well, which just did for us. Then you had that the first full season we finished third. Mm-hmm. Got to a lot of semi-finals. People going, well, you know, it doesn't really count. But he was let down a few times. Well, David De Gea had a stinker in like the I think it was the FA Cup semi-final. Plus in the transfer market as well, didn't really back him as much as we could have done. He wanted Erling Haaland. We gave him, forgive me, I've already forgotten his name.
Cavani?
No, not Cavani.
Ighalo?
Thank you, Odion Ighalo. Which is ridiculous. Yeah. And I like Ighalo, he's a nice guy, but you're trying to get someone like Erling Haaland, you end up getting someone like Odion Ighalo, who went 18 games in his last spell in the Premier League without scoring. And he has to work under that sort of constraint, gets third. Next season we get second and get to the Europa League final. Again though, he didn't ask for Donny van de Beek. He obviously didn't want Donny van de Beek. He's given Donny van de Beek. He's given a few signings that are neither in or there. I don't think he particularly wanted Pellistri and Amad Diallo, once for the future, granted, but he needed a DM. He was crying out for it, and we didn't get it. And it was like, by the time we do start getting the signings in, Varane and Sancho and then Ronaldo, who was a bit of a funny one, it's probably not the right combo. So I just feel like everyone gives managers credit for how high they finish in the league. Managers are getting like, oh, you know, amazing, he finished third, amazing, he finished second. This guy finished third and second, and people just dismiss it. Yeah, people just act like, and what?
Don't count.
And he never had a real proper full transfer window where he was fully backed. People will go, well, he did, Jay, because he had Sancho and he had Varane and he had Ronaldo. I'm not even sure he really wanted Ronnie. I think that was just sort of like...
He was told he was having him.
Yeah, and the transfer window before, Alex Telles,
Donny
van der Beek, Pellistri, Amad, like Cavani. I don't think they were particular, other than Cavani, who kind of forced the issue. I don't think any of them were really considered to be first team players. Then he had his first window where it was Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dan James. He needed a bit more than that.
And he made decent players out of all three of them during his time there. Yeah. We saw good performance out of all of them, but it's not going to drag you to a title, is it?
People are too quick as well to just dismiss performances in games. Oh, we beat City a few times, so what? Fucking what? Have you been to the Etihad lately? Have you ever been to the Etihad under fucking Pep Guardiola? Do you see how often they get beat? Fucking once every like 70 games. Yeah. He did it 3 times, for fuck's sake, in 2 years. Like, let's not just normalise that. And I know it's not just about beating Manchester City, but there was so many good performances and good results as well. He went on those record-breaking runs when everyone thought he was done. I just feel like, I'm not saying he was perfect, because he wasn't. Ultimately, he couldn't get over the line with a trophy. But I think when you look back, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was some of the best times out of the United fan post for Fergie. We finished third, we finished second, we had good cut runs. All right, we didn't get over the line, but we beat some good teams along the way. We beat Arsenal at the Emirates. We beat fucking Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We had big wins in those cut runs as well. So it's not all doom and gloom, and I think he's probably been a little bit hard done by the way he's dismissed by so many.
And what he did as well that Van Gaal couldn't do, that so far Ten Hag hasn't been able to do, we fucking scored goals. We scored loads of goals. We had strikers and attackers who actually scored loads of goals.
Is it 60 between Greenwood, Rashford and Martial in one season?
Come on. Like, that's just great to watch. And it was great to watch. And I feel for him. I think he deserved a trophy. Even, you know, maybe the Europa League. I'm not saying the Premier League or the Champions League, whatever. He deserved to win the Europa League, I think, just for what he did and how he improved players and the time that he spent there. Second and third, and a handful of semi-finals and a final. I think he deserved to win one, but unfortunately for him, he didn't.
All right, here's one for you.
Go on.
Ole or Frank?
Lampard.
Thomas.
Oh, what? Who would you rather have at United? Oh, Ole. All day.
Ole or Tuchel?
I think probably just Tuchel.
Ole or Poch?
Bring me Ole back.
I agree.
I'll take it.
I agree with everything you've just said.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Agree. And I'm not saying I want Ole back. I don't. I want Erik ten Hag to keep his job. But I probably think you're right about Tuchel. I'm not a massive fan of Pochettino. I'd rather have Ole back than him. And Thomas Frank, I don't think taking Brentford to 16th gets you the Manchester United job. Call me old-fashioned, but That's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. A couple more chats to go through. Steve Bruce, 1 year contract, player, manager, director of football, says Tony Crisp.
I'm up for it.
Stephanie Griffith says 377 likes. Jay's Anti-Chafing says, if Eric Ten Hag leaves, should bring McKenna in with Ollie as assistant. I think there's some conversations going in. I'm sorry I've sort of missed out because people are sort of, Vicky and a few of us are chatting to each other, so I'm struggling to see what's going on there, but I hope everyone's being friendly and supportive in the chat, which is what I like to see. Is that it?
That's everything.
Yeah? That's your lot. We rounded off with a non-story. We're still 87 short of getting to that 750k mark, but I'm going to be back in the morning, so hopefully we can do it then for the news. Also tomorrow we're going to have McCullough here. We're going to have me, Joe, and McCullough for Off the Bat. If you've not done right, I just want to touch on this. The biggest story to hit football in the last 48 hours has been Manchester City taking the Premier League to court in what can only be described as a desperate attempt to not get done for the 115 charges they've got. Matt Lawton from The Times was the man that broke that story, and my man, Mr. Joe Smith, interviewed him today. Fantastic interview, fantastic chat. And if you don't give a shit about them blue bastards down the road, don't worry, because there's a lot of United stuff and some great anecdotes as well about his time following United, reporting on United, because he's one of the few, I think he's the only reporter left who was covering United during the 99 season, who still is now. So, well worth checking out. Go and check out my boy Joe Smith chatting to Matt Lawton. Joe, always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you to everyone who's got involved in the chat and the comments and supporting the channel as always. Don't forget, if you're not doing already, to hit that subscribe button. I've been Jay, that's been Joe. This has been Transfers Live. Thanks for watching.